Hello and welcome to a view from the South Stand. I have got Tommy with me today from Tommy Talks Balls, and it's Man City 2, Spurs 3 at the Etihad Stadium. Tommy, let's start and get into it. Probably let's talk about Harry Kane. We're gonna have to talk about Harry Kane. I usually talk about the first half and stuff, but we're gonna have to talk about the man moment today because he literally ran the show. And you can. It was 150 million in the summer, but after that today, how much is City gonna have to pay now?
Double. Even being a year older, having less years on his contract, they're going to just that performance in particular. You can see they were missing a number 9. They were sort of missing the number 9 in that game in particular. Like they had the ball wide loads of times, even inside the box, but they just never had that number 9. It's the perfect victory. It is literally the perfect victory, given the summer as well. Brilliant.
It was a case of I felt like Harry Kane was kind of proving, well, you spent £100 million on Jack Grealish, and I'm sitting there, and I would have conquered it for you. If Manchester City had Harry Kane this season, let's be honest, they would be walking away with this league.
Yeah, it would probably be another 6 points, wouldn't it? It'd probably be another 6 points. So that was a big lot. It surprised me that they didn't sign anyone in the summer. They didn't get a number 9 in. They got a number 9 in January, didn't they? They got Alvarez, but took him back on loan. And that's certainly the first time he scored 2 goals in the game for us this season, Harry Kane, in the Premier League. We know he got a hat-trick against Mura in 90 minutes and that. I've been saying all season long, the floodgates will open now. Even after his first goal against Newcastle, I was like, the floodgates will open, the floodgates will open. They haven't yet, but they must do from here on in. They must do from here on in. He should have got a hat-trick. Should have got a hat-trick, quite frankly. But it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That finish, the opening finish, top right corner. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great ball, but bloody hell, with his eyes closed. That's the Harry Kane we all love and know. And as I said, floodgates are open now. Who knows how many you get? You get at least 15. I think going into the end of the season, you'll get at least 15, maybe 20. But the back problem, I was worried. As soon as I saw him hold his back and he was on the floor, I was like, no. We don't need Kane out for another month or 6 weeks. Seems to happen every season. Yeah. But no, fingers crossed, it won't. And if it doesn't, dare I say, maybe we're in the top 400. Oh, no, we'll leave that.
When you saw the starting lineup today and you saw Sessegnon get another run out today, were you a bit worried, or was you like, actually, I can see what the game plan is?
Right, so I was actually late. I was stuck with a storm and everything, so I didn't get to see the pre-game stuff. I just saw the lineup. So I heard yesterday night, I'd done a preview stream that Reggie was out with COVID or something. But if that's not the case, then if that's the case, I mean, was he on the bench? I didn't even see the bench. Was Reggie on the bench?
No, he wasn't even. He wasn't.
Right, so it must have been. Yeah, it must have been a COVID situation. So it didn't give Conte much of a choice other than to play him at left wing back. But look, I thought he'd done all right, and I'm glad he didn't get the whole game, did he? He got up until the 92nd minute, having been subbed off in the 25th. That must have done his confidence the world of good, getting the 92 minutes in, and then of course he can look back and say, I was in the team that beat Man City 3-2 away. But he didn't have the best. He didn't have the best of games defensively, but he was all right. We saw the wing backs get on the ball a little bit more. Emerson got on the ball a lot more. So yeah, I mean, our defense actually sort of held up pretty well for once.
And let's talk about the enigma, because I know your thoughts on Eric Dyer. He's come back today, and let's be honest, it's a better performance by the back three, and even including Royale and Ryan on the left. What did you make of Dyer coming back into the team today?
I saw Dyer early on, and he was playing his, he's doing his normal deep stuff, pointing and going deep, and I knew that would happen. I know that's what Dyer's traits are, and it's good in a free. He can cover the mistakes from the right centre back and left centre back. I personally think more of the key was to let Romero do what he does. Any middle centre back that can allow him to do that, whether it's Dyer, whoever else it's going to be, if they're prepared to sit deep and maybe cover for the errors that a world-class centre back in Romero could make. Davis was good too. Dyer was solid. The back line was solid. It was almost like we played with 5 centre backs. It was with Reggie, with Sessegnon and Royal. It was a lot of the time, especially in the second half. It was like we were playing with 5 centre backs, but that's fine. When you take the 1-0 lead in the 4th minute, they were always on the back foot, Man City. That's fine. Look, they've got to chase the game. They've got to chase the game, and they tried to. And for a lot of it, our defense stood up. I know we conceded 2 goals, but for the majority of the game, that back three was, that back three especially was good.
I know we've been talking a lot about the formation in the last couple of weeks, but do you reckon the formation today was perfect for us to play against City? It was, when you look at how we played it against Wolves and Southampton, do you think actually today's setup was definitely set up for Man City and probably, someone like Liverpool as well? But, because where they're not going to overrun us in midfield, we can defend. And just to add to that question, was it a mistake to play Winks last week over Højbjerg in the middle of the park?
So I always write a few notes. Because I'll have a stream coming up at some point in the next few days, and I'm like, that's one of the first questions I'll throw at people. Do was it a mistake of playing Højbjerg? Because I thought Højbjerg was absolutely magnificent today.
I did today as well, personally. Yeah,
top draw. I remember you come on one of my streams, and it was after the Southampton game. Yeah, it was after the Southampton game when he did have a mare. He was really bad, and I was sort of in agreement with you in saying that was his worst performance. I've been a fan of Højbjerg. I've had his back the whole time. That was his worst performance of the season. Yep. And for me, it was. So I still felt like we shouldn't have dropped him in the Wolves game. Look, hindsight's a great thing. But I still felt we shouldn't have dropped him because it's a week to the Man City game. If we had another game coming up midweek, drop him. But he had a whole week to the Man City game. Look, that's done. We lost the Wolves comfortably. He was back in, and he was fighting in that centre midfield. And we sort of won the centre midfield battle, but we didn't really see the centre midfield too much. It was all played on the wings a lot of the time.
Agreed.
And so we sort of when you're trying to counteract the press, you sort of go a little bit more direct. And we had Kulusevski, Son, and Kane on the semicircle, and we were just drilling balls to them the whole time. So we almost we almost got over their centre midfield that way, even though we only played with 2. And we've seen it get Southampton and Wolves. We were overrun with just 2 centre midfielders. So same formation, but a different approach. And I thought Kulusevski was brilliant. That
was my next question.
Brilliant, Ask it, mate. Ask away.
How did you feel after the first couple of games? And he kind of, it was kind of mediocre. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't that awful either. How was he today? What impact did he have in that team today?
Top draw. Absolutely top draw. Behind Kane, I know Son was absolutely brilliant as well, but I think Kulusevski from the 4th minute, we can see what he was about. And, we have Bentancur's always looked like he's looked fantastic since his first substitute appearance.
Yeah.
I think Kulu came on against Brighton when we were 3-1 up. He looked very, very nervous. He looked very, very nervous in that game, which is fair. He only came from Juventus a few days before, and Brighton had to push. So Kulusevski had space, made a couple of dodgy passes against Brighton. But from the very off today, with the ball at his feet, it was absolutely brilliant. Because what we've seen, we know he doesn't rely on pace too much. He's quite tall, so he's got pace, but his acceleration isn't great. So nothing like Son in that way, but he's got brilliant passing, brilliant cross, very tactile with the ball at his feet, good decision maker. And you've got to make good decisions against Man City. You've got to be really, really smart because you're not going to have too much possession. And we didn't. I think we had less than 30%, 28%, something like that. But whenever we did get possession, Kulusevski, he was fantastic. And he drove that team, as did Son, as did Kane. Our strength is our attack. And that was the focus. If we focused on the defence and sat back the whole game, we would have lost 8-0. So our strength is the attack, and that's what we focused on. We kept 3 boys up there, including Kulusevski. It was absolutely fantastic. We've seen Bentancur, as I said, he looked only 2 signings, Bentancur and Kulusevski. We've seen brilliance from both, quite frankly, and it's good. It's good moving on. I felt a little bit bad for Lucas because I've got a soft spot for Lucas. But he is brilliant off the bench, Lucas, isn't he? He is regardless, he's a good player to come off the bench.
Yeah. When it went to 2-2 and the penalty was given, how would you have felt if it had finished 2-2?
I would have taken it. I really would have taken it. I was sitting there eating my Chinese and I was thinking, right, let's just hold it. Let's just hold this. Because I thought, right, there's going to probably be 98th, 99th minute. let's just hold on to this. It was similar to Leicester. When we got the goal back late, I was like, 2-2 is going to feel like a victory right here. And then we went on to win it against Leicester. It was like, it felt like 6 points. And then today's slightly different because we had the lead. We had the lead the whole game, 1-0 and 2-1. But still, to come away at the Etihad with a point would have been a really good point. So to get that, I couldn't believe it. But if anybody to get the winner, I couldn't believe it. And if anybody was going to do it in that game, it was Harry Kane. It was brilliant. I think he outjumped Diaz. I think it was Diaz who he outjumped. And he just brilliant accuracy because there was no power on the cross, so it had to be perfectly accurate. Seems at the end, and rightly so. I know a lot of people went to that game, fellow streamers and a lot of people went to that game, so they'll be ecstatic right now, absolutely ecstatic.
And as Spurs fans, when we do play against City, should we be looking at it? Because I know we have 2 bad games, but when it comes to us or Palace, City always seem to struggle. What is it about those 2 teams that Pep just can't seem to get right?
Yeah, we do seem to be their bogey team in many ways,
yeah.
But it's not usually away at the Etihad. We've got a terrible record there. But any team that constantly gets points of City, home or away, are a good team. I think it sort of plays on players' minds, doesn't it? So City go into it and they're like, right, this is our bogey team because they've kept the same 11 for pretty much. As I said, they only signed Grealish in the summer, so the whole of last season, the season before, they haven't made too many changes. So it's that same starting 11, and they've got to have it at the back of their minds. Like, this is our bogey team. We've got to start off. We've got to start off quick. And as soon as we scored in the 4th minute. As soon as we scored in the 4th minute, they're like, here we go again. Here we go again. You know, psychology is a part of everything. It's a part of sport. So yeah, we've seen that we lose again. We've lost against pretty average teams in Southampton and Wolves. Certainly points we feel we should have picked up 3, and let alone like at least a point. So to go to City, we always get up for it, and I'm not sure if there's a specific tactical reason, but yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant nonetheless, and you just know next season when it comes up, when that fixture comes up, Pep's going to be dreading it. He's going to be dreading it once more.
Yeah, and just looking at the game and looking at everything else, can we make top 4? This is the question I'm going to be asking every single guest every week, game after game. Is top 4 still on, or is it a case of we're going to make? We could make it, we might not make it. Depends on others.
It's very much dependent on others because I don't think. I mean, how many games? What? We're on 23 games. We've got 15 games left to the end of the season. How quick has this season gone? By the way. Yes. But yeah, 15. We've got 15 games to the end of the season. Still a long way to go. To definitely get there, you'd probably have to win 11 of those games, 10 or 11 of those games. And I just feel like if Man United really get going with that team, with the new signings, Varane, Sancho's looking good now. Sancho looks like he's coming together. And Ronaldo looked really good. Bruno Fernandes. That's I don't like to keep talking about other clubs, but them on top form as opposed to us on top form. Take my Tottenham hat off, I should say. I would say they would be the favourites. But they are struggling, and they're the only team I'm really truly afraid of. Arsenal are very good. We always have a go at them in jest, saying, "Oh, they haven't got a striker," but they haven't had a striker all season. Aubameyang wasn't even starting for them when he was there, so I know they got rid of him and haven't replaced him. They haven't had one of those strikers all season. So there are other teams in the hunt. I think the only teams that would make it in front of us are those 2, Man United and Arsenal, if I'm being honest. I think that West Ham, Wolves were above us for this game. But I think the reality is, I think it would be Arsenal and Man United. But we're right in there. We've got 3 games in hand to West Ham. I think we've got 3 games in hand to West Ham, 2 to Man United. So we could be on the front foot. The key is the Man United and Arsenal game. They are the keys. Relegation battles are 6-pointers. To get into the top 4. If you really want to get into the top 4, when those fixtures come around, we're going to have to beat them. When's the Arsenal game? I've got tickets. It hasn't been rescheduled. That game should have been done already.
Yeah, I'm with you on
That game
that
should have
one.
been done already. So when is that? Imagine if it's last day. Imagine if it gets rescheduled to the last day. We're fighting for the top 4.
They're
Oh my
going to
God,
push it back as much as possible. You can
mate,
tell
that'd be
they're
mad.
waiting to put it in the diary and drop it in, because they've just announced Liverpool and Arsenal's rearranged game. I think they've got Chelsea to
Right.
rearrange for Arsenal as well.
Right.
So it's a case of when can they fit us in at the same time.
But it's in our hands. Just to finish
it's
off, it's in our hands. It's definitely in our hands. But little things like Man United and Arsenal going on a run, and as I said earlier, Kane holding his back. If Kane was injured for that, you got to say, there's no backup striker there. It's Dan Scarlett without a professional goal, and Son that can perhaps play there. So that will be a determining factor. If you can keep Kane and Son fit and do better than Man United and Arsenal, quite frankly, then yeah, why not? We can make it. We've got, mathematically, with the games in hand, if we win them, we're in front of both teams. So yeah, I think we got every chance.
And my last question, as I always ask my guests, and I'm probably more embarrassed to ask it today than usual. Man in the match today?
Yeah, I think we all know. Yeah, man, Harry. I mean, But even before his goal, did you see his range of passing? I think the commentators were saying that like Harry Perlow, and it was true. Like he was spraying it around. He was getting Emerson into the game. Emerson was picking up a lot of space on that right flank. And any player that gets space and you've got Kane on the ball, doesn't matter what team he's part of, he will find you. And it was perfect in the first half. It was absolutely perfect, even without his goals. When Son scored the goal, I was like, okay, right. I don't care. He's on my fantasy team. He's still going to get man of the match. And obviously, I love Harry Kane. We'll win the game 1-0. I don't care. But then he got the goals, and they're thoroughly deserved. And I mean, if you could give a 10 out of 10, that's a 10 out of 10 for me, Harry Kane. And as I said, from here on in, man of the match for me, floodgates. The floodgates have got to open up now. They've really got to open up. As I said, I've said it all season, but I believe after I think we've got Burnley next. You got Burnley away?
Yes, Burnley on Wednesday. So
not easy. Yeah, not easy. Four away games on the bounce.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. 3-0 away to Brighton, and Brighton are no mugs. Brighton are no mugs either.
No.
So 3-0 away to them.
And before we go, not a Spurs question. Kelbrook or Khan? Who's winning tonight?
Oh, I would have said before a couple of years ago, I'm like Kelbrook every time. But because how feisty he's getting, he's got so feisty the last month, and Amir Khan's just like. So for that reason, I want Amir Khan to knock him out. I want Khan to knock him out. It should be a cracker. It should be a cracker either way. Yeah. But how do you feel on that? We ain't chatting about this.
I think Kelbrook's just got a bit more hunger in his belly, and I think Khan's got a bit of celebrity. So I've got a feeling Kelbrook, if he can take Khan to a few rounds, I think he might win it. I'm not sure. It's 50-50. And to be honest, I could care less who won. I just want a good fight.
Yeah, mate. I want him to batter each other. At least and after 7 or 8 rounds, we get a knockout decision or something like that. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. But who cares, man? Look, we got what we wanted. We got the Spurs. The Spurs win. We got what we wanted. This time next week, we could be sitting very pretty. We could be sitting very pretty this time next week.
And that's the key thing. Today's result, after the last two, I think today's result is kind of we needed it. We just needed it. It
just switches it completely, doesn't it? To lose to Southampton and Wolves before the game, you are like, if we get a point against City, it's a fantastic point. Now we're strolling. You brought it up. We're back in the top 4 discussion, and it's the Spursy way, isn't it? It's the Spursy way.
Of course. Definitely the Spursy way. Tommy, thank you for your time today. And as always, anyone, please like and subscribe. And as we always end this, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up Audio, by the way.